Hello everybody, Surat here and welcome back for another Nintember. So, this game won't take too long to explain. May take me a little while to play because I'm not the worst player of this type of game, but not the best either, so I probably won't go more than 9 rounds or so before I die horribly. But yeah, so Nintember. For those of you that are unfamiliar, and ignore the crinkling you hear in the background, the cat has just discovered a plastic bag. Where do you keep finding these things? Anyway. Nintember is kind of a celebration of Nintendo's... just Nintendo in general, I guess. And my contribution to it in the past has been to make lyrics to various song themes. Kind of like Brentalfloss, only not as good or nowhere near as funny. What is the CPU? I've never watched the CPU attract mode here. And it seems to be very good at hitting that one little spot. It is demonstrating something, but anyway. So Nintember, basically kind of a celebration of all things Nintendo throughout the month of September. And as I said, my past contributions to it have been making song lyrics and singing them. And also last year, because this is the third Nintember, last year, for year 2, just to be clear, I went through what were called the black box games for the NES, which is basically every game that was released in the first year of the and it kind of was in Japan too, but well, for me personally, just the first year of releases in the United States for the Nintendo Entertainment System. So this year I'm doing the same thing, kind of, only for the Game Boy. Yes, cat. Only there are a few more game releases, as you might be able to do the math if you look at the side panels. And yes, all the box arts are there, and you will probably be able to pick up some of them through the blur effect I managed to apply in Paint. But I decided to keep these kind of a little bit of a surprise every day. I will hopefully remember to do that correctly. And the cat's now watching the paddle move back and forth. Do you mind, cat? Thank you. And yes, the cat clicked off the screen. Thank you, cat. So, we're going to begin. This was the first title, and my criteria were kind of simple. It had to be released within the first year of it being in the US, the Game Boy. The first full year the Game Boy was released in the US. And it had to be released, as far as I could find, in both the US and Japan. So I don't think I got any exclusive titles. There were a few. There weren't many, but there were a few. And I didn't feel it was all that fair to get exclusive titles. At least this is what the wiki was telling me when I looked at it. The wiki could be wrong. But it is my best source, sadly. I know, research and all that. But anyway, I've been talking for a few minutes here. Now that we've gotten the idea of what Nintember is, what I will be doing for it, let's actually get into the game. That's not what I wanted to do. Ah, there we go. Rebinding keys. So Mario jumps into his little capsule. And we get to control when the ball comes out. We hit the button and it makes the ball come out. we have a way to move slightly faster by holding down a button. And this is Breakout. You control you have pretty decent control. It's a pretty decent version of Breakout, but again, it's Breakout. And we've all seen Breakout. I'm pretty sure we've all seen Breakout by now. Yeah. After you clear off a few bricks and hit the top of this top of the screen, the ball will speed up. I'm not going to play too seriously and too hard here, because it's a Breakout. This game really doesn't throw anything. This is no Arkanoid. Another game in the genre that you may be familiar with. Ah. I moved too fast. I was attempting to get the ball to take a different angle by sliding as I touched it. And it backfired on me. You're kidding me. But yeah. I mean, I'm just going to show this off. There are... If you remember the Black Box Spectacular I did last year, you notice that there was a very high amount of very few types of games. A lot of sports titles. You're not helping me. Did I hit a... Yeah. But yeah, there were a lot of sports titles, mostly a lot of platformers too. One thing that I was even surprised by... Got it. Hey, there we go, we finally finished the stage. Now stage 2, the same with scrolling. Yes. But yeah, you noticed a lot of sports titles and platformers. There's going to be a lot more variety in the Game Boy's first year of releases than there were in the yeah, I was hoping that would rebound and stay up there. But we are getting to start with the version of single-player Pong that's been on every console ever by this point, I think. I don't know, did they ever release Pong for Xbox or PlayStation PlayStation consoles? I can't imagine that was high on their list of things to actually do. But yeah, just if you're watching and wondering how they score, I think you get 1 point for the white bricks, 2 points for a gray brick, and 3 points for the dark gray brick. And this, what you see right here is pretty much what you get. That pretty much missed everything. Like I said, I'm not great at Breakout or Arkanoid or whatever you want to call it. Arkanoid is clearly the superior version of this type of game because of the power-ups. The only one you get in here are power-downs. Also, Stage 3 is going to focus descending blocks. And you don't have to worry about dying because the blocks drop too far. I haven't seen it happen yet because I haven't played this game all that much. But supposedly, according to the manual, if the blocks get too close to the paddle, they just kind of disappear. So you just kind of lose the points. Ah. Too far. And I don't know exactly what triggers the blocks to drop. I don't know if it's hitting so many blocks, or if it's just how many times it hits your paddle. I do not know. This game may be much shorter than I planned, which is fine. None of the games this month are going to be a great demonstration of my skill. But you see how this kind of gets a little harder. And after you finish stage 3, you get a bonus stage where you are timed. Also, they don't your ball doesn't reflect. Come on. I don't have much luck with these. You would think these would be easier for me, but no, they are not. Nope. And now we're back at stage 4, where they slightly vary up this, but it will do the same thing over the course of the next 3 stages, where you will have this, then you will have this spinning, then you will have this trying to drop down on you. And then you get a bonus stage. I'm not sure if it starts to actually increase in difficulty here, or if it increases in difficulty on the 3rd loop. But I know there is a thing it will do. But we will see it when we get there. As we'll keep some surprise for this game. What little surprise there actually is. Also, I want everyone to consider a thing that... There we go. If you hit the ceiling, from now on, your paddle shrinks. When you lose a ball, it will go back to normal. But if you can hit the ceiling, you get a handicap. Wow, that one chromed right into the floor. Excuse me. So I only have one more spare life after this. I may get a free man here in a second. Yeah, there we go. Every 1,000 points gets you free man. I'm glad I get to show that off because this has been a terrible run so far. But after this, there's literally nothing more to show. There really isn't. It just gives you a different pattern of blocks. That's all that we have. Just new patterns of blocks and new sculptures for the bonus level, I want to say. Also graphical glitches that the bottom half of the bottom dark line of the brick sometimes gets kind of stuck in place, as you're seeing there. Yeah, these rotating stages get interesting sometimes. For that alone. And of course, like every other Arkanoid, Breakout, whatever clone you can come up with, whatever name you can come up with for these games, the ball speeds up after you've hit it a few times. Just to increase the challenge. What was I going to say? Oh yeah. So something I want people to consider about the Game Boy. Most of these games are going to look somewhat inferior to games you've probably played before. Just keep in mind. Just keep in mind that these are, well, they're working with some limitations. This ain't the Switch, after all. It's not even technically the Nintendo Entertainment System. There we go. Sometimes I can complete a stage without losing life. Not many of them, but it does happen. But yeah, we're working with a fairly underpowered machine that was fueled by many AA batteries, and they didn't last very long, so the whole point of it being portable is only portable for about a few hours, or unless you had an entire 32 pack of AA's. Which, let's be fair, most parents that bought this thing were already kind of upset that they were shelling out over $100 for something to keep you quiet on a car trip. Granted, that didn't apply to me because I was a little bit past that point in my life. Oh yeah, also, more bricks come from the top now. We are getting new rows out of the top. That's the other twist here. I believe it completely repeats the pattern. Very difficult to work this out for me here. Yeah, I finally got a couple of those taken care of. I just gotta get that one. It's gonna be more difficult than I thought, isn't it? Yep, there it goes. See, that's what happens. If you don't clear it out, it disappears before it gets too close to you. I imagine in later stages it'll get a lot further down to become a lot more of a problem. So, I get distracted way too easy when I'm trying to say something. Because I'm trying to play a game and talk at the same time. But yeah, not the most powerful system that ran on batteries, but I was a little bit beyond school age, really, when it came out. I was basically in high school at that time. That tells you how old I am. And of course I miss. Of course you come from that side. Why wouldn't you? It's not the side I wanted. Just saying. Yeah, is this going to drop further? I don't think it will. There we go. But, yeah, so don't expect miracles out of the original Game Boy. I don't think you were going to anyway, but you know, just saying that we are dealing with a fairly limited machine. Although at the time, this was mind-blowing. Even if there were huge problems with screen blur. Because the machine could not handle very many, the machine could not handle scrolling the entire stage well. Get the last one. Hey, I did! Bonus! And you get a pretty big bonus for actually doing the entire thing. Which is going to extend this video. Lovely. So, new pattern time. And you notice we are getting, it feels like we're starting to get more blocks, but we're not really. They are definitely going to take up more space on the screen. And make it much harder just to tunnel up one side or tunnel up through the middle and get to the roof to just take out as much as possible. Which, given the fact that it shrinks your paddle down, also, I'll wait to talk about the motion blur effect that happens when you play games that will come later in this series, like, obviously, one of the launch titles that everybody remembers, if you remember this at all, is Super Mario Land. Where when you tried to walk to the left or right, the screen just turned into a massive blur fest. So, one of the things they tried to do was have a lot more games where you played on one single screen, like this. They tried, I will say. I don't think success is the word we're looking for there. We got a fair share of them coming up. I hate small paddles. And they are doing yard work outside. Normally, the sound of the music in the game can block that out for me. Bet you get it. Now this is going to be fun to look at. Especially since all three colors are rotating at different speeds. You know, I'd talk more, but I don't know what to say. This is a game type that's been around forever. They made dedicated Pong consoles. That was one of the first game types they released in and home. You know, just consoles that did nothing but play Pong. That's all they did. And this blew people's minds. They literally could do nothing else. All they did was play Pong. And it was mind-blowing because they got creative with what they could do. They gave you, like, screen overlays and such. Oh, another extra man. They gave you screen overlays. And, you could turn that one Pong game into soccer, or hockey, or just a bunch. I mean, they did as much as they could with it anyway. They really did try to get creative. It wasn't the most entertaining by today's standards, but back then it was like, what do you mean I can play games on my TV? This is amazing. And it took them a while to actually come up with a game system where you could put in a cartridge. And the cartridge had the game on it, so the system would read the cartridge and get the game. That was not how it started out, just in case anybody was actually wondering. Nope, it started out with a unit that cost quite a bit of money, but could still only do one thing. They had some Pong consoles, and they had some that were, gun games, too, with a fairly realistic-looking rifle where you... Of course, I'm going to do that here. A fairly realistic-looking rifle that you would shoot at blips on the wall. I still don't know exactly how well that worked, but it sold well enough for them to eventually figure out how to emulate it on the Nintendo Entertainment System with the Zapper, and the Sega Master System, and Genesis with their light guns. I believe the Genesis was called the Menacer. Could be wrong. I did not have it. I had a Nintendo and a Super Nintendo, and my parents did not feel like shelling out for a Sega. I did have a friend in college who had a Sega Genesis. Got to experience something that was really far ahead of its time there, in a thing they called the Sega Channel. I've talked about in the BattleTech Let's Play with Lantern. I don't know when that video will actually go up, because as I'm speaking now, we are done recording it. But there is one small thing. It's going to be going up until February. That's why I haven't put the BattleTech Let's Play on pause during the month of Nintember. Because I'd rather not make that one go any longer than it has to, because it's going to be there for a very long time. If I make it, this has been a half hour. Some of it has been me just jabbering on. Most of it's been me jabbering on, but the first few minutes of it were me jabbering on while the track mode played. Although, can you really call it an attract mode on a game console like this? Because attract mode is a term they use in the arcades, or at least used to. Because you would get to watch the game play a little bit of itself, and it was supposed to attract you into wanting to play more of it, so you fed them quarters. Why didn't that hit? I want that to hit. I mean, I want a lot of things in life. This is more frustrating for me than it is for you. I guarantee. Dang it. Lousy small paddle. Finally. Oh look, it's a blooper. Aww. Well, I had a shot at this. Nope, I had a shot, and I screwed it up. So yeah, now they start putting invincible blocks there, but okay, this has been 32 minutes of me playing Breakout. That's kind of a... It'll be a little bit less by the time I edit it, maybe a little bit more. But yeah, this has been Alleyway for the Game Boy. So the rest of the games on here aren't quite this. There are a couple that are probably about like this, where they're kind of very single-minded in purpose. But not quite so many as with the Black Box series. And hopefully you guys will stick around to see that. But for now, I'm going to call this one so I can go take a look at day number 2, get a little bit of practice in on it before I start recording it. But anyway, take care everyone. I will see you all next time.